Hey there, in this video I'm going to show you how you could build this custom accordion element in Webflow using only a couple of custom elements and some divs. And the great thing about this is that it's only HTML and CSS and it's focusable, so you can go tab and use your keyboard and no JavaScript. So let's build it. So here we are in designer mode. And all I have in my project so far is a section that I've named section_home-FAQ. I have a component that I've named home-FAQ_component. I have my H1 heading. I have a spacer for some separation between the heading and the items, and my home-FAQ_wrapper that I'm going to use to wrap all of our FAQ questions. So the first thing we're going to do in building this custom accordion is we're going to add in the custom element. So I'm going to use the shortcut Command E or Control E if you're using Windows. So I'll go Command E and add in the custom element. And with this custom element, I'm going to go into Settings and I'm going to give this a tag name of Details. And with this details element created, we're going to add in another custom element. So I'll go Command E, custom element. And this one's going to get the tag of summary. And if you look down with this summary element, you'll notice that there's this text box right here. This text box is where we're going to type in our question. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just type in, "This is my question." Now, before I get too far along in this video, one thing I just want to bring to your attention when using custom elements in Webflow is that there is a slight gotcha when you have nested elements. So for example, let's say later on when it comes time to add the icon, we were to give this summary a position relative and then have a div that's positioned absolute. Well, watch what happens when I have a nested element in this summary. So I'll go Command E, add in a div. And if I was to go back into summary, we lose that text box. So later on in the video, when it comes time to adding that icon, we're going to have to use a pseudo element instead of using a div positioned absolute. But just wanted to bring that to your attention since we're using custom elements for this component. So if I delete this div block, go back to summary, I then get that text box again. So just a slight quirk to keep on the top of your head. So with this summary item created, I'm going to add in another child to this details, so a sibling to the summary element. And this is going to be a regular div. So I'll go Command E, add in a div block, and if I go back to style, I'll give this a class name of home-FAQ_answer wrapper. And in this answer wrapper is where I'm going to add in the paragraph, which will be used for my answer. So I'll type in Command E, add in a paragraph, and nothing's there. And that's because this is a accordion element. So if I was to preview and click on "This is my question," we then see our placeholder text. So in order to edit this, we can go click on the paragraph, go to our settings, and under paragraph settings, we can click on this text, highlight all of it, and for the sake of this video, I'll just type in "This is my answer." And if I preview that, "This is my question, this is my answer." So now let's go back and style these elements. So I'll go to details first, and I'll give this a class name of home-FAQ_item. And I'll give this 2 rem padding on the left with a background color of white. And I'll give it a slight border radius. So I'll go 5 divided by 16 rem. Then I can go to the summary and I'll give this a class name of home-faq_question, and I'm going to give it 1 rem padding on the top and bottom, and I can do the same for my answer. So 1 rem padding on the top and bottom. If I go in preview, we get something that looks like that. And now it's time to add in our icon. So what we're going to do is, like previously mentioned, we're going to use a pseudo element. So in this home-faq component, I'm going to add in a embed, and I'm going to add the following CSS. And what this is going to do is it's going to remove the default caret icon that appears when you use the details and summary elements. And we're going to replace that with an SVG of our own. And for this SVG, all I did was I just grabbed an icon from Reloom, brought it into Figma, changed the colors to match the branding of this website, uploaded it into my assets folder, and I'm using that as my background image for the pseudo element. Then I just gave it some transitions, so that way when details is open, and we can see by this open attribute, we're going to transform and rotate it 180 degrees. So I'm going to save and close, and we see our icon, but it's not quite right. We want the icon to be flush to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to our home-faq question, and instead of being display block, we're going to go display flex, align left, and center it on the Y. So then if we preview, I can click, and there's our accordion. But you'll notice that it's abrupt. We click, open, click, close. There is no easing to it. Well, at the time of this recording, easing from essentially what is height auto 0 to auto is only supported in some browsers, so it's a progressive enhancement. So while it's not supported in all browsers right now, when it does become supported, it'll just become there, and until then it will look like this. So I'm going to go back in regular designer mode, and to get the animation to work so where it eases from open to close, we're going to go into our body all pages, and we're going to add in the following custom properties. So I'm going to add in interpolate size and give it a value of allow keywords. And this interpolate size allow keywords is what's going to allow us to use the following CSS to animate it basically from height 0 to auto. And I got this CSS code from Kevin Powell and CSS Weekly on YouTube, so I'm going to link those videos in the description. I highly suggest you check them out. I'm sure if you're watching my video, you've already checked them out in the past, but can't thank them enough. They are a valuable resource. So in my code embed, I'm going to go underneath this transform and add the following CSS. And this is going to allow the easing when we open and close our details. So I'll save and close. And if I was to preview, you'll notice that there is easing, but it looks like answer is not a part of it. The white box eases, but the answer still appears and disappears. So to fix that, all we need to do is just go to our home-faq item and set the overflow to hidden. So I go in preview. Now we have the accordion working as it should. So I can go ahead and duplicate these items a few times. And in this home-faq wrapper, I can set the display to flex vertical and give it, let's just say, 2 rem gap. And go ahead preview. And we have our accordions. But let's say you want only one of them opened at a time. Well, we could use the name attribute, and we just have to make sure that all of them have the same name attribute. So if I go to this home FAQ item under settings and attributes, I'll give it a name attribute, and you could name it whatever you want as long as they all match. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'll just name them FAQ. So I'll go name FAQ, make it lowercase. We'll go in preview. I'll click on the first one, second one, and it opens one at a time. So there you go, a simple HTML and CSS only accordion you can use in your Webflow projects. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.